Hi there, welcome to part 2 of our read aloud for Escape from Syria. The main character is having a flashback to when her and her family lived in Aleppo City, Syria, 2013. My favorite part of the day was walking home after school. My entire family lived in a 3-story house. I would go to Uncle Mahmoud's to read his books. My uncle was a professor at the university. And he would say, Amina, surely you've read this. No? What are they teaching you these days? There you are, little Amina. Come, eat these apples with your grandfather. Granddad would say that every day here in the yard. My cousin used to live with us too. After university, he joined the army. And on her phone, it shows a picture of a text message from her cousin Abed saying, her asking him, when are you coming home? Him replying, Inshallah, next month, little one. No one ever thought war would come to Syria. That's what everyone around me was saying before we left. Shows a map of Syria. But my father said the roots of the war date back decades to the time Hafez al-Assad came to power in 1970 after a military coup. It was a time of living in fear. With his son Bashar succeeded him in 2000, my father said there was hope for change because Bashar promised to bring reforms to Syria. But these hopes were dashed barely a year into his rule when his soldiers arrested activists calling for democratic elections. Emergency rule prevailed. Syria became a one-party state. Freedom of speech was curtailed. Public gatherings of more than 5 people were banned. Everyone hung a portrait of Bashar in their homes. To say something bad about the president was suicide. Bashar's plainclothes agents were everywhere, listening, almost like spies. We kept our true opinions to ourselves. God, Syria, and Bashar. Those who dared speak out were never heard from again. Even in our own homes, we never knew if we were being watched. It shows them eating dinner and they hear a bump and they're all scared. The state made us fearful, and so we thought Syria would never fall. Then, on March 15th, 2011, then something changed. In Daraa, in southern Syria, a group of youths inspired by the 2011 uprisings in Tunisia, Egypt, and Libya spray painted the mantra of those revolutions on their city's wall. And this is the mantra right here. It says, the people want the regime to fall. They were arrested, and some say even tortured. The people were shocked, so they took to the streets. The people's anger was growing, and not just in Daraa. Protests were held across Syria. Again, another map of Syria. In Hama, in Deir ez-Zor, in Homs, in Aleppo, and even in Damascus, the capital. Dad, is all this because of the boys you drew on the wall? Amina asks her father in a crowd. No, Syrians have been unhappy and angry since the time of Hafez. The regime marginalized poor Syrians in rural areas. They grew even poorer because of Assad's economic policies, which benefited an elite minority with connections to the government. Because of nepotism, people, especially youth, found it difficult to get jobs. It got worse in 2007 when Syria experienced an extreme drought. Crop failure led thousands to migrate to urban centers where many struggled to make a living, her father explains. The people want the regime to crack. Crack, 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 crack. Amina's father grabs her and they run. They're hiding. And her father says, all is lost. What do you mean, Dad? She asks. Look at those people. Their own country is willing to kill them. So what does it mean? Amina asks. It means war, replies her father. And that's where we will stop for today. Until next time.